Welcome to Dirty Casual, a Heroes of the Storm podcast for the rest of us. My name is Bearcat, and here are my co-hosts,
Argyle
and Big Oakley.
Hey, and welcome to episode number
14.
14. Number 14. This is going to be known as our After Zool special episode because Zool is now in the game, and we have all had at least a chance to play him. Well, not all of us, but
not me. I didn't buy him.
Everyone's played with a game with him, either against him or maybe you have played him. So we'll dive into that a little bit later in the show. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is that our interview is now live on realmmaintenance.net. So it's realm-maintenance.net. Ro interviewed us, and if you're a new listener, hi, welcome to the cast. Say hi, everybody.
Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. First things first, let's talk about free play.
Free play. Play for free.
We kicked ass.
We did. We had really good games.
We weren't a full free play team this time because we only 4. We couldn't get our 5th person.
We had a lot of people on vacation and stuff this week. So
business trips and vacation.
Yeah. So all of our backups, I should say, kind of were not around. So we did it with 4, so we kind of cheated this week. That being said, we did rock this week.
It was bonkers.
It's true. We did. There was the Dream Mosh Pit.
We had some very good stuff going on. The free heroes this week are Artanis, ETC, Gazlo, Jaina, Lili, Butcher, Uther, Thrall, Nova, and Asmodan. So, I mean, it was a pretty, it's a good week. There's a lot of, relatively simple characters to play on here. I like that part.
Yeah, Lili, ETC.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I got to try my hand at Uther a little bit. That was fun.
That's right, yeah.
That was... Uther is stressful.
See, if you check the tapes, Oakley was about to play Uther without a skin. And this still boggles my mind, because, Oakley is a guy who owns, I think, 2 skins?
Maybe 3.
Maybe 3. So this is one of his 3 skins that he bought during the awesome Black Fridays, Black December sale, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you didn't even equip it.
And because I'm so used to not having skins.
it.
And you know how long it's been since I played Uther? A very, very long time. So
I had that cool Judgment skin.
Oh, it's awesome.
You combine the 2 skins you bought too, because you had the Judgment skin with the Raynor's pony.
The horse.
Marshall the Outrider.
Yeah,
the sheriff.
Because I didn't have enough to get the Judgment pony. So, and it actually works pretty well.
Yeah, it's a nice looking set.
It looked good.
But I just had to give you shit about that because it's ridiculous.
It is.
You finally play a character you have a skin for, and you don't even equip the skin.
I'm just gonna go play. It's fine.
So yeah, well, I mean, you play. I think you have Raynor, Uther, and Brightwing. I think those are the only 3 you really have skins for, other than Master Skin, which is for Sylvanas. Yeah.
I don't think I bought anything else.
That's silly.
I have a ton. I really do. Yeah.
More than I would like to admit.
I'm working on filling out my hero collection. I'm getting close.
Right, you're getting close. How close are you? You have 5 heroes left? 5. Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to spend the money to buy Zool, but I don't care about a skin. I'm a little sad I won't be getting the mount.
That skin is so silly. He looks like a Power Rangers boss.
No, it's Serpentor from G.I. Joe.
Oh,
that's
same era. You know what I mean?
That's like man. Even when I was a kid, I was like, this is stupid. It was Serpentor. That was G.I. Joe jumping the shark super hard.
Man,
back then.
Yeah, he seems like he would have a Skeletor laugh and escape on a flying carpet, and yeah.
And someone pointed this out, and they totally missed out on an opportunity to have his skeletons be mummies with that skin. Yeah, I think, or maybe little snakes or something.
Yeah, well, I don't know why they didn't do that. It would be very cool.
They're gonna save that for some legendary skin, probably.
I know. I honestly think that I don't even think he has themed abilities on that skin. I think it's just a regular. Yeah, I don't know. They might buff, quote unquote, the skin. We'll see what happens.
They've done it before. Spectre Illidan.
True.
And with Shandow Illidan.
Although
both got Metamorphosis.
Now that I'm thinking about it, though, none of the bundle skins actually change the abilities. They're all really plain skins. Maybe they won't ever do that.
Yeah, they got to leave something. They got to get your money again.
Because think about that. If the bundle for Butcher, for instance, that skin that you get with him doesn't have any steam abilities. Li Ming's didn't. The Jade Serpent for Karazim doesn't have any theme abilities.
None of them
do. Yep. So those are
you're right.
Yeah, those are actually going to be the cheap ones. Those will be $375 when they go on sale.
Who knows? There might be 1 or 2 that does. Just kind of how there's a couple master skins that change abilities.
It's
true. Oh, hey, I did not know that.
Speaking of that, there's actually one little point I want to make that I read earlier today. And that is that Blizzard is now being more transparent that you will be able to buy the Serpent mount separately by itself at some point during the future.
Oh.
It is not exclusive, period, to that bundle.
So, but just right now it is.
But right now,
It might like make a return.
It will make a return.
It's gonna be the same thing as the Lunar Noodle. The
Yes.
Dragon Noodle.
Are they going to make that available?
Yes,
too?
all of them will be. So essentially, what Blizzard is doing is like a timed exclusivity. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it's working. Is basically you'll have it way before everybody else, but eventually it will be people will be able to buy them again. So that lunar skin, the and the serpent will
Cloud
be
serpent.
available. Yeah, which I'm really excited about because I actually want those 2 skins, but I did not want the skins bundled with them. I wanted those 2 mounts.
Mount collector. Did you
I
do that
did.
in Warcraft? Too?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
I
could tell.
I like them. I want it to match. Like I don't know. I just like it when they match so perfectly. There's so
I've
many
got
things
the coin, and I've got the motorcycle for Space Lord Leoric. I don't need any.
like that's it. That motorcycle is very cool. I don't have that. Yeah.
Maybe,
It will
so
come
even
back.
that?
I don't have.
I wonder.
I wonder if that'll come back. I
Because
think
that's a
it will.
legendary now.
Is it? Is that no such thing?
Well, it is now.
It is now.
It's a legendary skin. It's
Yeah.
a legendary mount.
That'd be. It is very
mean-
cool. I mean, I think it's the only mount that gets like a really. It got a brand new animation.
It has like a trail.
Yeah, it has an animation because if you think about it, all the others are either like the horse riding animation or the
Oh yeah.
animation where they're riding like a
flying,
carpet or
yeah.
flying. Yeah, exactly. But they had to add new animations for everything for that one.
What about
bike?
No, they had the vulture before that.
Well, it's flying too.
The what's it called? Recruiter friend bonus mount.
I don't think that they're riding it that way though. Maybe they are. I don't think it has.
It's the same pose.
Yeah, they're both
Is it the same
motorcycles.
pose? Yeah.
So they introduced like the model and animations for it just shortly before this new one came out. So
But the main point is that if you have your eye on that serpent and if you just can't hold, if you want it so bad and you can't help yourself, go ahead and buy the skin, buy the whole bundle. But just know in your heart it will be available later, and don't be upset when it is available later. And for the other people who just want them out, just chill. You can get it.
So all you Asmodemians can finally get the Star Princess chariot.
It's the best.
it is the best. It's one of my favorites to see.
That is the best. I love that.
I
It's
think
so
the
funny.
best part about that is he looks like he is having the time of his
He's like,
life.
wee.
His arms are out like
He is surfing
I'm
on
king
that
of the
chariot. He
world.
loves it. Absolutely.
So you can go ahead and you can catch our free play games at twitch.tv/dirtycasualshow. And you can watch them. They're actually really good games. We've kind of upped our production value. Quote
yeah, you
unquote.
guys are allowed to watch these ones because
Yes.
we won.
Yes, that's true.
We did much better this week than we did last week.
The other weeks, I don't recommend them as much.
This
This
week,
week is good.
You should go check those out.
That's good
This is
stuff.
good stuff.
I had my Uther and my Nova on for these games.
I think I played DTC all games.
How did Nova feel?
I don't know. She still doesn't feel quite right. I played a few games with her on Tuesday, and it's hard to say.
Well, it's kind of funny that her name is Nova because you know what that means? It means no go.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what they did.
That is pretty much what they did to her. I think they need to give the 20 points of damage that she's still missing on her snipe. Just put it back on there. Give us that last 20 damage and see where she's at. Because that would take her back up to her baseline from before the rework. She wouldn't have gathering power. She'd have this whole new model, basically idea behind her. And I think it would work pretty well. Like her talents, I still say her talents feel good. I haven't played much with Snipe Master, but everything feels really good. It's just she doesn't have any damage at all, really.
Yeah, she's still not super threatening. I feel like, unless she's only threatened to low health targets. Really, is what it is.
Pretty much. And so you can't really, you don't do enough to cause somebody to go to low health. You don't really do anything except get that last 25% right now.
So she got a small buff this patch, just a Snipe Master, I believe. And
No, her
Just
snipe.
a snipe.
oh, just a snipe.
Yeah,
Okay.
the snipe damage was increased.
All right.
And Snipe Master was also adjusted, though. It was just like the damage per stack was slightly increased.
To 15.
Yeah.
Right. So you get 15
to 75%.
Up to 75?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I actually had that. In one of our games.
Wow.
75%.
Yeah. It's not hard to stack. Like they've done a lot with Snipe Master to make it more viable. So I like that.
So another week of balance changes. I mean, they're still addressing. There's no Li Ming change this time. I think Li Ming. How do you guys feel about Li Ming right
I think
now?
she's in a good spot.
I think
Yeah.
she's fine.
Yeah, right
I
now, as of now, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
just
think
taking
she's
S of
still,
Johan out.
she's still dangerous. Still does a lot of damage. People are still sieging fairly well, but not as quickly because they have to be more conservative with their mana, which is exactly kind of what we were talking about, put her in that position to do with that. And you see teleport build a lot more, basically.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, teleport build's really good.
How do you feel? You're a Li Ming player.
I am. I really like her. I honestly think that I feel better when I kill somebody now on her. Like I feel like I
earned
did it. I
that.
earned it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I earned it. I hit them.
Put your time in.
I put my time in. You know, I have I feel like I'm really like kind of struggling. Also with her, not struggling, but I really have a moment where I try to think, what do I want to do? What kind of build do I want to make? Because there's a couple variants on the magic missiles build that I take, and then of course there's teleport build when there's a dive heavy team. I also take teleport build on infernal shrines because you basically can't hit anybody in infernal shrines, so you just want to be able to get in there, do AoE as to help clear the packs as well, and do damage. So I tend to do that. It's very fun. The other thing I do is just magic missiles. Sometimes I'll kind of do just the basic mirror ball build, but I've also been playing around with fireflies, which is a level 16 talent that lowers the cooldown of magic missiles by 1 second, and it also makes them travel way faster. So if you have Seeker with that, you can almost land your magic missiles 100% of the time. It feels really good, and it's hard. I mean, the only problem is you'll still run out of mana. So that's the last thing I want to talk about is I do think still Astral Presence is the best talent. I've played around with Power Hungry. I've played around with Astral Presence, and I still think it's the best talent in that tree. I mean, Power Hungry is cool, but I don't know. Maybe if I was better at going and getting globes and traveling more, and maybe it was kind of if my team was kind of helping me, it might be better. But overall, your poke is better when you are constantly regenerating mana at very low. You know, when you have very like almost no mana.
I've run into one thing with Li Ming that is just infuriating, and it's gotten me killed multiple times. She disintegrated me from a bush, and the disintegrate beam never showed up. She never showed up, and then I died.
There's been a lot of really strange fog of war bugs happening that are being reported. There, Zoya from Tempo Storm, I believe, made it a video about this, and one of them, for instance, is Stitch's hook. Mm-hmm. If Stitch's hook is cast on the fog of war, the opposing team, the one that's getting hooked, their computers will all just like lock up. You'll have like you'll have like, and so apparently this is also happening with Butcher's Charge. And I honestly think it just has something with the fog of war is broken right now. I don't know what it is, but it seems like abilities that are cast from the fog of war
just break
are breaking the opposing team's computers. It's really strange.
Like when you cast something from Fog of War, you're supposed to show up on the minimap. You're supposed to become visible. Li Ming can stand in Fog of War and Siege and never show up. So you'll suddenly be down towers or fountains or something, and you'll never know what happened. You'll never even know they're gone.
Wild.
Yeah, I really like her though. I think that she's in a good spot, and
I think overall it's great. It's just it's not her fault the bugs exist.
Right.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
Oh my God, she brought them with her.
Did these happen before she was introduced?
No, actually, I think that the Stitches bug started like
the next patch
about
afterwards.
A month ago. No, I think it was very close to that same.
Thanks, Li Ming.
Thanks,
Good
Li
job.
Ming.
Thanks a lot. Ruined it.
It was that buff to slam he got in the patch.
Yeah.
It breaks everything.
Yeah. You slam so hard. Yeah.
You slam so hard your computer locks up. The last change that the last change balancing issue there is to talk about today is Rhaegar. I haven't talked to Rhaegar personally about how he feels, but I don't know. I'm sad because I feel like this is we've gutted Rhaegar for 3 weeks in a row now, and I think that they may have gutted his shield talents they're just almost not even worth taking anymore, which I guess is fine, but if you're playing Rhaegar and if Lightning Shield build is not working out for you, I highly suggest to try the Totem build, because that build is freaking insane and it's a lot of fun. It feels way more fun and interactive because your chase down potential is really good, and you get a 90% slow for a second and a half. That's insane.
Really good.
It's basically a route. Yeah, it's an AoE pressure point because everything in around, and you can move your totem. And when you move your totem, it's like a recast, so you can do it twice. So it's really, 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 really good. And if you take a rewind at level 20, you get 2 of them.
Whoa!
And 2 chain heals. So that's big news. we are here today to talk about the Skelly in the room. Mr. Zool, he's
Zool.
here.
Skelly boss.
The Skelly boss. I love his dance. His slash dance. He does spooky skeleton dance with his head.
Yeah.
That's so creepy.
I wish, though, it was the time warp.
It was so. It
He does look like
good.
Riff.
He looks like Riff Raff. Like,
It would have been
like,
perfect. It would have been so good.
That would be like the perfect skin. for him.
Yeah, it really would be. Who would be Columbia?
Jeez.
It would have to be Nova, I think.
Nova, yeah.
I think it has to be Nova because like she has like a cane and she can use the cane and
Right.
turn into a
As a
gun or
gun.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that'd be
Stitch
really
is gonna be
cute.
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie. He could either be Eddie or he could be. There could be like a really gross skin of him being the shiny Rocky, right, or the
Well,
boy,
right,
the
yeah.
shiny boy. Oh God.
Everything is terrible. It's beautiful. I love it.
So Zool is now in the game. I know that so many people were super pumped about Zool. I know you were pumped for Zool, Argyle. So how is he? You want to talk about Zool a little bit? Who is Zool?
I would love to. Zool is the Necromancer, D2 Necromancer. Diablo 2, for all you folks that have never played a Blizzard game before. And he was advertised as like a like everything basically, like off tank, lane pusher.
He was gonna assassin. He would find your lost socks. He would get all the spots out of your clothes. Yeah.
Actually, I think in like the spotlight video they kind of said he kind of skirts the line between like off tank and assassin, and I think that's like the exact opposite.
Yes.
Basically of.
And it's kind of like the Li Ming promise, right? So she's gonna have problems with her man, and when on release she did not have that.
Right. Yeah. Now, okay. That said, I think Zool is really super good, in my opinion. But not for those reasons. Like mostly because so when you hear about his abilities, when you just read them, obviously you can't really tell how they're going to operate. So part of the reason I think people thought he was going to be a super good assassin is because of his Cursed Strikes, which adds an AoE component to all of his auto attacks. However, it's not just like you right click and the AoE happens. You need like an initial target for that, and the arc is based on how you're facing that target.
It seems like a buff that you cast.
Exactly.
Like you buff yourself, and it's like it's a timed buff, and it has many auto attacks you can get off in that time.
Exactly.
They'll arc, and based on
And
which
the
way
timer starts after your first, so you can preload that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it's kind of like Artanis's W or whatever.
Yeah.
You or you preload it.
So yeah, exactly. So you can get that primed up, and then you can just walk around and do whatever, regain that mana back, and then just start swinging.
That's really cool. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, and it is really cool. He is a wave clear machine.
Yeah, it's gross.
So people thought that he was going to be a really good assassin because of this, but
I mean, his chase down isn't super good.
no, it's not. I don't think so either.
And if you try to chase someone down, you're just going to put yourself in a really awkward position. And I do believe that there's a lot of trap talents in his tree that make you think that, oh, I can make this work, but just the nature of his character don't really allow the follow through for that. But for example, the level 1 talent was a reverb backlash on the shield. I don't like that talent at all. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, that's really cool. 15% of their max health when your shield expires or is broken.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's just talk about the abilities really quick.
Okay.
Let's do it for people who don't know his abilities yet.
So his Q is his scythe. Basically, you target an area, and after a sec, it spins up and then comes back towards you.
Right.
Dealing
a reverse skill shot.
Yeah, doing bonkers damage, even at level 1. It hits hard. That is part of your main tier, main tool for clearing waves. And it combos with some of his other abilities. We'll talk about that later. Cursed Strikes is the self buff that we were kind of talking about, that adds the AoE component to his attacks. In addition, anyone hit by that, it has their auto attacks slowed by 50%.
Any hero hit by that.
Any hero hit by that.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's actually an important distinction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And that lasts 4 seconds. So you've got 4 seconds, and he attacks reasonably fast. I believe you can get on average about 3 to 4 auto attacks in that window.
I
Can we
think I've
put
gotten at least 4.
Can we put this into perspective real quick? His attack speed is faster than Zeratul.
Yeah.
He attacks faster than Zeratul does, so you can really get a lot
You
of
can
them
get a
in
lot
there.
in. I honestly think you can get upwards of 6 in. If you
Yeah.
5 to 6, maybe. I think 5 is a really pretty. If you are just standing in one place,
It lasts
you can
for
get him off.
4 seconds.
I don't know what his attack per second is.
It's 1.2.
Yeah. See, that's crazy.
So you can get 4 and then
I think
almost 5. You can get almost 5 attacks. So
Then his E is Bone Prison, which is Lamb to the Slaughter on a 12-second cooldown.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, like,
Yeah.
honestly, like,
Yeah.
it is in... I really like the ability. Basically, I think the coolest part about it is, when I first read about it, I thought it was going to be something similar to, like, Kerrigan's spikes, where you target and then it happens. No. How it works is you just click on a guy, and 2 seconds later, they're trapped in a prison for a couple seconds, where they can get beat up.
But you have to get very close to them.
It is an incredibly short
Like
cast.
melee range, basically.
Essentially, yeah. Like, you have to be on them to do it.
So if you are a ranged DPS and a tool comes running at you, you know what's about to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know.
You're about to get tossed in jail.
Yeah, you're about to go
he
to
wants your
jail.
dick.
Do not.
You know what the best thing
collect
about
it.
this ability, I honestly think, is that the visual indicator on this route is so good.
Yes.
Because it's freaking huge, and it's so obvious that you're not going anywhere, and
Yeah.
it makes your other teams really, I don't know, it catches your attention on the battlefield really well.
It's big and it's a unique indicator. It's not just another circle around you. It's not
Right.
something that you've seen 100 times with some other abilities.
Like, how boring is Pyroblast
Right, yeah.
in that respect?
Like, and it doesn't blend in. Like, for instance, like something weird on the battlefield that's easy to miss is like Nubarak's cocoon. Like, I think that's really easy to miss sometimes because it kind of just blends in with the ground. This does not do that at all.
It's spinning.
Yeah.
It's very bold. Yeah. Then he has his 2 heroic abilities. First off, Poison Nova, which does a ludicrous amount of damage to
Over time.
stupid amounts
to
of cards.
everything around you. And then Skeletal Mages, which is kind of like Force Wall that can attack at the same time. It's
And also be killed.
and also be killed. Yeah, I've got some problems with that one. I think of his 2, Poison Nova is probably the better.
What would it take to make the mages better, in your opinion?
They either need more health. Actually, that's pretty much it. More health, or not be hit by AoE. I think that would,
If you could like it.
So make it like basic attack things only?
or single
or
target.
even single target stuff. But basically, like,
like a
what I was
frostbolt.
finding in battle is the skeletal mages. Like, your idea with them, it'd be kind of use them similar to Force Wall, where they're used to as a choke point, or you toss them in the middle of a team fight to really cause some chaos. And what I was noticing is, yes, they do cause chaos for about half a second, and then they're pretty much all destroyed at that point. So you can use it to get chasing, like, heroes that are being that are running away from combat. But it has a pretty lengthy cooldown on it. It's over a minute
Yeah,
on the
70
cooldown.
seconds.
So using it purely for that, where you could just use your Bone Prison, for example. And now I will say that the level 20 upgrade for it is really good. Because that makes it so whenever a hero dies around you, a skeletal mage will spawn.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
really awesome.
That is really cool. But, I mean, the problem is you have to deal with having it as your ultimate when Poison Nova is just incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so good.
We're
So
just missing just
And
the
then,
shield. Yeah.
yes, and then the shield, yes. So he also, I think he's like the only character that has something like
Yep.
this. He starts with an ability on the quick bar.
The one.
The one.
Yeah.
The one key.
Yeah, the one key.
You hit one and you gain a shield equal to 25% of your health for a couple seconds. And your first talent tier is talents specifically that affect your shield.
Right.
Blizzard doing this.
Blizzard loves this.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nice, actually.
It
You kind of
worked-
get out of the way.
On some heroes, it's nice.
Yeah. I think the problem with it is, in my eyes, there's a clear winner in this tier, and that's the
Shade.
Shade. Yes. Shade adds 10 seconds to the cooldown. It already has a 30-second cooldown, but it makes it so you evade all auto attacks.
Right. It's essentially like
duration.
Illidan.
Yeah.
Only better because Illidan just grants you block.
No, you miss. Yeah. So.
But what I was about to say earlier is the backlash one sounds really cool on paper, because when it expires, when either your shield just wears off fades or is broken,
depleted,
it damages everyone around you for 15% of the maximum health. The problem with this is Zool is not as tanky as advertised. I'd say he has I'd be willing to say he has exactly Unubarak levels of health.
Yeah.
37 less.
So very, very similar. Which, okay, in the grand scheme of things, for specialists, that's pretty high.
Yeah, he's the number 2 specialist under Asmodan, who has 2,800.
A distant second from Asmodan.
Right.
Asmodan is the fattest ass.
Yeah,
But like hundreds of percent higher than the third Murky. No.
I think the number 3 is at like 1,500, so he's got 400 health.
On
over the
like
next
Zagara
specialist.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember who it is.
He does have a decent health pool, but on his own he has no escapes. Not that a lot of specialists do, aside from like Sylvanas.
Zagara?
Right.
Zaga.
On creep. She runs really fast. I mean, I think I consider that pretty much an
Scooby-Doo
escape.
runs on that.
Yeah. She like Zoidberg's away.
So the problem with Backlash is first off, the radius is super tiny.
Yeah, it really doesn't go that far.
It's not very...
And it's telegraphed, like, super obviously.
It's telegraphed, and then the biggest problem is you're using basically your only defensive cooldown, which is a half-minute cooldown, to be offensive.
Right.
And that just puts you in some pretty poor situations.
It's like bolting into the enemy instead of away.
You had to be 100% sure that you're about to kill somebody or whatever. I tried my one game I did with him, and I didn't like it that much. I didn't like the fact that it was telegraphed so obviously. Because I was like, oh, they just know, get out of the circle, and then when it expires, blow me up. I mean, that's exactly what they did.
The third option has a similar range to it, but it slows enemies around you by 30%.
I really want to try that, actually.
It's really cool paired with... Now, he only had... All of his talents are totally unique, except for one. Level 16, he can take as an Executioner.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of pairs well with that.
Also Skeleton Mages. So you can go like a whole like control build that's like slows and things like that, yeah.
You could. I think there's better talents at 16 though. Like that's a pretty good tier.
Yeah, it really is. Just looking at it, the stuff that's here is crazy.
For him. So I mostly try... Basically, he kind of has 3 builds, I would say. He's got one that buffs his trait, one that buffs... there's a few. Because there's one you can do for Curse Strikes also. You can buff his Scythe, and then there's also plenty of talents that buff the prison.
The prison.
The prison, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, the vulnerability on the prison, for instance, is super duper good.
Yes,
that's a 16 talent. I tend to take that as well.
That one, and then the cooldown is reduced on your Scythe if it hits a hero.
That's on 16, yeah.
Yeah, so you have those 2, an Executioner.
And Corpse Explode.
And
Skeleton Master.
Yeah, you can have 6 skeletons.
Yeah, okay, so I played a few games earlier. Both were on Black Hearts Bay. I don't know what luck that was. One of my favorite maps. But, for both those maps, I decided to try the build around his trait, basically taking anything involving the skeletons. A couple notes about that. Level 4, he has the offering of Tragul's Essence, which makes it so you gain mana every time your trait goes off. And on paper, that sounds really cool. However, he doesn't really have mana problems. Like, his abilities just don't... I don't know if you found that when you played him.
No, I didn't have any issues.
But, like, it's just...
His cooldowns are too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you die.
It's just kind of overkill. However, the healing one is incredible. Level 7, you get one that when your trait goes off, you heal. And his survivability is something we've kind of talked about. And so this makes it so if you just clear a wave, you're pretty much going to be at full health, like pretty quickly, or just top yourself off after a battle. And then you can take Corpse Explosion at 13, and it makes your guys explode after they expire or die. And then Skeleton Mastery, which we just talked about, increases the amount of skeletons you can have. I found that one to be overkill. It's only 2 more, and since your skeletons don't last super long, having their damage increase is kind of not important, especially if you've already taken Corpse Explosion, so they're going to be
You want them to
dealing
die and
tons of
explode
damage anyway. Exactly. I think that's something that took a lot of Azul players off guard is how quickly and how easily your trait skeletons die.
Yes, and it's also interesting because it pretty much always goes off. I didn't realize that it would like replace the lowest health
Yeah.
skelly. So you're killing guys and you're basically constantly refreshing your trait. I didn't realize that was going to happen. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
That's what actually makes that healing talent so incredible. It's basically, you kill a minion, you're going to heal 100 health. Period.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you heal health super quick with that, and you're really good at draining towers of ammo because every time you kill a guy, there's another bullet from the tower basically. if you're by there, I found the abilities that buff Curse Strike to be a little underwhelming. You've got one that increases the attack speed slow from 50 to 75. That's okay. There's one in the same tier. There's one that heals you but it's only for heroes hit.
So it has the potential to give you a ton of healing in like hectic team fights.
It has the potential to heal you a lot if they're all clumped up in a mosh pit and you're probably winning that fight anyway.
Right.
And getting out of it alive. For the very, very first time I played him, I took that talent, and I think most of the time I was hitting one, maybe two heroes, and the heal wasn't. I mean, if it was something like as bonkers as Butcher's Brand,
Yeah.
I think it'd be really good.
Yeah, that'd be crazy good.
But I find the in that tier, the better healing talent is the minion.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Then he gets one at 13.
Oh yeah, and this is another weird one also. It's basically Giant Killer, but only on his curse strikes.
Right. It is. I think it is 2%, right? So it's
Yes.
actually better, technically.
For 4 hits.
Right. When I say better, it's a higher percentage of health because Giant Killer is 1.5%. So.
But the problem with this is it's the same problem as the healing one, where at most you're getting one or two attacks off a hero that can just move out of the way, or because again you need to have them within your melee range to actually proc it. So
Yeah, I think this is actually a really excellent point, and one of his biggest weaknesses is this dude can be kited so easily. It's
Yes.
not even funny. The moment his prison is down, you're going to be able to get away. And even if he puts it on you, he's probably losing something. Something's about to happen, and you'll be able to get. He won't be. I don't think he can blow you up that fast. So even if you are squishy like a Jaina or something like that, he'll have more worries going into you than him going.
right.
Yeah.
I think the what you'll probably end up seeing a lot of Zuls is you won't see a lot of you'll see a lot of like mixed talents. You won't see like a specific like build per se. I think there's going to be a lot of situational stuff that will influence what stuff you pick, and I think that's exactly the kind of purpose and idea that Zul fills, where he's like on base level, just with his kit, he's that jack of all trades, master of none. And then his talents are like, okay, what do we need?
Mm-hmm. I think he's a very, like you said, a niche pick. I don't think he's going to rattle up the meta very much. From my experience with him, I think he is, and we haven't talked about this yet in level 20 talents, I think he's an excellent counter to double support.
Yes.
I think that this is really what they've introduced. They've introduced a new mechanic into the game, and I don't know if we're going to see more of this. I actually am kind of excited. I think that this talent, so you can talk about it. It's
Mortal Wound.
Mortal Wound.
Yeah.
At level 20.
If you're familiar with World of Warcraft, Arms Warriors will get something called Mortal Strike. And I don't know if it does it anymore, but back in the day, what it did is it reduced healing effects by 50%. In our case, I believe it does 75%.
75% for 4 seconds.
That's a long time. If you hit that at like a specific time,
You pair that with the level 16 Flowing Wounds, which reduces the scythe cooldown when it hits a hero by 4 seconds.
so what do you have to hit somebody with? The scythe or the...
It's the scythe.
The
Okay,
scythe.
so it's pretty easy to hit people with that too. So
is.
it's not like the cursed one, because the cursed one's kind of hard-ish to hit more people
Exactly.
with. It sounds weird, but...
It's super easy to catch people on a team fight. Plus, I mean, like, if you bun prison someone, they're guaranteed to, like, you can just combo that, basically.
Yep.
So what I actually got a chance to mess around with this talent earlier. First off, the visual on it is really cool when you get it off, because it puts like a purple cross above their head.
Oh.
And it looks really, visually it looks really cool. Anyway, they hit
I don't think I've ever seen that
There's
before.
a really cool indicator. I don't think a lot of people are taking it. I think people are taking alt upgrades, which is silly. We'll talk about that later. But I picked that talent even on a time where I did not take other scythe talents, and it was still very good. I think, while, like you said, it's a good counter to double supports, it also just cripples single support builds. Because if, like, say that I played against a Brightwing earlier, and Brightwing already does not heal, like, a ton, this just made it so there was no recovering. Like, I would watch Brightwing jump to the people that I had hit, and it was like nothing.
Pathetic.
Yeah, basically.
Pathetic. Yeah.
It is a really good pick.
I think so too. I really like that they put this in the game. I just wonder about like some interactions. I think that needs more testing. They needed to be more upfront about what exactly this is going to affect.
Right. I really want to hit somebody that I see targeted with ancestral healing.
Yeah.
So bad.
Well, yeah. Well, it'll be reduced to near nothing. Or how about Divine Palm? Like if
So Divine Palm, I don't know if it works that way.
it does. The effect lasts through stasis.
It does.
And then it heals. Same thing with Ice Block.
Okay.
Ice Block is a stasis. Maw is technically stasis. If you get put into stasis with a debuff on you, it goes through its duration. If it expires while you're in stasis, that's it.
It's good.
But if it's still on when you come out of stasis, it still applies.
Stasis is really funny sometimes. Like Zero Tool's Void Prison.
Right.
Yes.
Because there's been times where it's like, I think one of the best, weirdest interactions I've ever had with that is I was playing ETC and I took Tour Bus and I Tour Bussed into a Void Prison. Well, into an area and he Void Prisoned on me, right? And then when the Void Prison wore off,
Kept moshing.
I kept moshing.
Yeah.
So they were like, the enemy team was like disabled for like 20 seconds. Like it felt like, and we won that fight. But it was just really, I didn't know it was going to work that way. I thought maybe it would wear off.
One of the best things to see is when a hero uses like a flying ability into Void Prison, like Chance Kick or Judgment or Dive or any of those, because when the Void Prison wears off, they still go to their target. So it's like, woo!
Bye.
Yeah.
Off the map into the Nexus.
Or sometimes escape it entirely. I was playing Kerrigan once, and her ult rises her up a little bit.
Yeah.
I got out of a Void Prison that way.
Really?
Once. It was a weird bug. I was right on the edge of it anyway, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're out of it." Like as soon as I ult, like
Yeah. I watched an Illidan do that once. He did a hunt like into the very edge of a Void Prison, and he's like, just like went around a wall to get out of Void Prison to his target.
Wow.
Like it just kept going. It was weird.
That is very strange.
Void Prison is hilarious.
But for his other level 20 talents, I think there's another trap basically where his ult upgrades, while neat, aren't the best picks. I think either Mortal Strike or Mortal Wounds or Bone Spear.
Bone Spear does a lot of damage.
Bone Spear does a lot of damage. It does not cost mana. It goes pretty far and has a 10-second cooldown.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's really funny because at first every Diablo player who played Necro was like super disappointed because like we never saw Corpse Explosion or Bone Spear, which were like the key abilities for Necromancer, and then they snuck them in on the talents, and I was like,
See what you did there.
Yeah,
Nice.
And Bone Spear is really good. The Poison Nova upgrade is just
boring.
overkill.
They just
It's
get-
boring and
yeah,
it's overkill.
yeah.
Poison Nova already does a ton of damage.
Yeah, because it just makes it do more damage. That's literally all it does.
Exactly. And as we mentioned earlier, the Skeletal Mage talent is neat because anytime you kill a hero, you get a mage. Kind of buffs your trait in a way, kind of.
It's like Earth, Wind, Fire for Chen.
Yes. The Elemental Conduit kind of thing. But again, you have to take Skeletal Mages, which I think is the weaker. I could be wrong. If anyone's having like good time with Skeletal Mages, maybe I'm just using it wrong.
They already turned off this podcast after they're like, fuck this guy.
Right, yeah. Well, but it's like you want to use it in a team fight, and then they die in the team fight. So like, I just don't know when the optimal time to use the mages is. So I could be using it wrong, but I think it's just kind of like a weak force wall, in my opinion.
Yeah, my thought on it when I first saw it was kind of the same. Like, they get into a choke point, you drop it behind them, and then they're just getting wailed on from both sides. They got nowhere to go. But if they die as easy as you say they do,
Right.
it's not really going to do what you expect it at all.
So here's what I think with Zool. I think Zool could be played pretty well as a lane pusher if you go his trait build. But I think he really is going to be shining as played kind of in a support role, more in the like traditional, as we've discussed in last week's episode. I think we brought it up. You brought it up, Bearcat.
Yeah, about how supports are played in other MOBAs.
And I think Zool really fits that mold. Like, Zool feels like a Dota support to me.
This kit feels like it was ripped from another game. It doesn't feel like a Heroes kit, honestly.
Where basically you have a really good disable in the form of Bone Prison in this case. You've got some really good debuffs in the form of stuff your Scythe can do and stuff your Curse Strikes can do. And you've got an ultimate that just lays out damage. He feels
and good sustain. They can stay in lane, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, I think he really feels like a support, and I think that's probably going to be his optimal role, in my opinion. The lane push is good, but other specialists do that better.
Yeah, you wouldn't pick him for that.
And he's not picked for that. But again, he does have that ability to kind of fill in what's missing. If you guys are missing it, or like if you are facing a heavy auto attack lineup, and even though I said the Curse Strike build sucks, go for it. If they're going to be in your face, you might as well slow them down, or get some health back, or
do something.
Remove their health.
Find some way to punish them for doing it.
So, I think the thing I think with him, he's going to end up, if for the meta, like for even pro meta, I don't know how pros feel about this character. I haven't heard anything yet. But my kind of prediction for him is that he might be a last pick kind of character. I think that if they try to, bait out some auto attack characters, or, maybe they first pick squishies and then they start taking auto attack characters, and then they take Zool, or they have to waste a ban on Zool. That's a big deal, because like he's such a situational character that helps open up other characters in the meta. So I'm excited.
I don't know, just because I think Bone Prison is so good. Like, it's such a good. I mean, it's kind of like a delayed. Well, Tyranda's done, except
it never misses.
Except it never misses.
You pair him with Falstad and Gust, and you've got isolation like out the wazoo.
He has
you are guaranteed to kill somebody.
He combos with a lot of existing characters, which is another one of his strengths, I think. Basically, I mean, obviously, being able to put someone in place for multiple seconds, that's good. But, I mean, just obvious people he goes well with. Artanis, I had a game with Artanis earlier where Purifier Beam just melted the person I had in prison, especially if you take the vulnerability upgrade for prison.
Oh, man.
Another thing is Poison Nova does incredible amounts of damage, so if you have someone like ETC, you can just melt the enemy team really fast.
Or Johanna can pull them in, and then you can do that. That's very good.
I didn't even think about that one. That's gross.
And, I mean, a lot of people's worry when, I think, playing Zool is that he is a melee character. But he didn't really feel like one, just because you have a lot of ranged damage in the form of your Scythe, and you've got decent sustain if you take the proper talents. And you can stay in lane longer than you would expect, I think.
Do you expect anything to get buffed or nerfed about Zool?
I don't think there's anything overpowered about him. I think Poison Nova does a lot of damage. However, they have to be very close to you, and the shots get absorbed by targets. So it spreads out around you. You're like the epicenter, and then all these bolts, poison bolts, go out around you. Yeah. So basically, if you're in a poor position, and let's say actually, you have a situation where your ETC mosh pits, and you, instead of going inside the circle, you stand on the outside. Let's say they've got a Stitches. That Stitches is going to take like 2 of those bolts and then essentially protect the rest of his team from getting hit by it. Now, they do travel very far, and people have trouble walking sideways sometimes, so you do sometimes get people that run away from it, but I think the fact that the bolts get absorbed by who they hit makes it so it's not overpowered. I think this is definitely one of those things, and we've talked about this before with other heroes that have come out, that like once people figure it out and know what to look for, it's really not going to be that big of a problem. People will start kind of treat him in the way that they treat ETC, where it's like, okay, he hasn't used his ult in a while, it's probably up, we probably shouldn't group together, or maybe Stitches should go first, or whoever the Fat Panda should go first, or something like that. Someone who can take a couple hits, probably survive it, and then we kill him. Because
I'm curious here. I just had a couple of thoughts. The Poison Nova, if you get hit by it, does each individual bolt stack the damage? So could you have 2 stacks, basically? Or is it a duration thing?
I believe it can stack multiple times. I believe you can. Like,
that's a lot of damage.
It is a lot.
I think that's why people, like, when they're basically hugging him, that's why they get so much damage on them.
Because they're getting
they take multiple bolts.
Exactly.
That makes sense. My next thought was Lunara's level 20 abolish magic suddenly becomes really, really good.
Yeah, that's super good.
It completely negates it on herself and somebody else.
Yeah.
So you could save somebody with it. That's really cool. That's actually a really excellent point. And to that point, I was just thinking about Lunara. This is damage over time. It's over a very long time too. This is over 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Yeah.
So that's a long time to be poisoned. If you have a healer on your team, and say you're not mortal wounded, like a Brightwing can pretty much out heal this. And I also had a huge problem when I played him. The Tyranda's Shadow Stalk felt like it completely negated it.
And after a certain point, it definitely does. Like, looking at the numbers just at level 10, it doesn't look like it should, until you realize that both the heal over time and the burst heal at the end scale individually. They both scale by 4%.
Difference, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it eventually catches up and overtakes the damage from a single bolt.
So, you trade ult for ult, I guess, but, like, I feel like Tyrande ends up winning that cooldown trade because everyone's now stealth, and that automatically makes people lose targets, whatever, so I don't know, maybe she's just a really good healer versus him, which is good. He needs
totally.
that.
Oh yeah, there should be a counter.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, that was very frustrating because any AoE healer can pretty much you don't have to worry about that at all.
Until level 20.
Until level 20, yeah.
And it takes, you were playing as Lily against Zool.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of cups from that jug to get you back to where you won't die.
The other thing, too, about Lily, like, if we're going to talk about Lily for a second, that is not an AoE heal. It heals single targets in an AoE radius. That's kind of the way to put it.
Prioritizing the lowest health target.
Right. So that's why it acts the way it does. To me, it's not a true AoE heal. You know what I mean? Like, a Brightwing is an AoE heal. Shadowstalk's an AoE heal that heals everybody in the area at the same time.
I just know that as I was playing Nova, I was getting cups, and
I had some
I was
great
watching
saves.
my health fill up, but it was still grayed out. I was still poisoned. It's like, I'm still going to die. I'm getting all these cups, and it's going to do no good.
I think that's the only time I really screamed last night was when that happened to us, and I popped jugs, and I think I saved every single person that time. It was insane.
I got a couple of cups, and then I went over and hit the fountain. I got a few more cups, and then my health came back.
Groupies was really good against that.
Groupies was so choice against that Poison Nova. It was beautiful. Especially the game where you had 30-some globes.
It was bonkers, yeah. But I think if anything gets adjusted, I imagine maybe over time, maybe they'll decide that the Mortal Strike style thing it's too potent. I don't know, it depends. It's still super early, and I don't think I've heard any pro feedback. I don't really take initial pro feedback with a grain of salt anyway, because everyone was like, oh yeah, Lunara is awesome, and Greymane is awesome. They have very flowery things to say about a newly released character.
Right.
And then they never get picked in tournaments. Right. Yeah, stuff like that.
Actually, the Mortal Wounds was the only thing that I thought might get adjusted down. And I just because 75% is that's
a lot.
Much. It basically negates everything.
I think 50 is pretty fair.
Yeah, even if they to 50, that's still incredible.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. If they're going to knock it down, I like it. I like what it does. I like the different type of strategy and play that it forces and what it counters directly. But 75% is too much. I think 50% is fine.
So, my thing about Mortal Wounds. Oh, do you want to say one more thing?
No, go for it.
The one thing about, I'm kind of moving on to something else just really quick. I think they're going to add more characters with this into the game.
That's my thought.
They're
too.
going to, and so the characters, I think I can think of 2 characters that might have this. I think that Varian could have it, and I think Gramash could have it.
Absolutely.
I think Gramash, especially because it's like an armed warrior, like with the Gorehowl, like that would be so fucking cool.
That would be.
I'd much rather see Sarfang as
that's
as
true.
the arms warrior.
So if they're going to introduce more of these Mortal Wounds mechanics, that means that their supports have to take a different direction too. So you'll see
We need more powerful
shielding.
support. Yeah, and that's one of the things too. Is I want more powerful supports and supporting in another way. You know, it's cool to. It's cool to think about supporting in a different way, which is why I really like Zool myself. Is that he genuinely, once I started playing League of Legends and even dipped our toes into Dota, you could tell like this is not healing is not all there is. And it's not all there is to be a good support, essentially. Like, good supports actually help set up kills, really, more than anything. Healing is just one part of it. It helps you stay in lane, but if you don't secure any kills, you're going to lose anyway because you're going to run out of mana. Right. What's important is that you help set up kills. And Zool really allows you to do that.
For all of your Dota players out there, Zool feels like a cross between Abaddon and Venomancer, like, together. The perfect baby.
The perfect beautiful
little
skeleton
dead
baby.
Also, Zool has some great lines. I don't know if
Oh my God, they're so
they're so
good.
funny.
So many of them are like, they're really good throwback lines, especially
His,
to you D1 or D2 players.
His Hearthing one is one of my favorites.
Which, there's a couple of them, but...
Well, the one where he says, I'm going back to town, or the hall, or whatever.
Or his line about, man, BattleNet's a lot shinier than I remember.
Doesn't he have a line, he kills somebody, he's like, I got your ear?
Yes.
Yeah, this is definitely a fan servicey character.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, this is a fan service character, and that's awesome. I think that's what Heroes needs, because it's going to bring people in who haven't played a Blizzard game in a long time. Like, maybe they're, people who are in your 30s and you haven't played it, but you're like, oh, dude, they added that guy. I remember that guy.
Right.
I loved him. I want to play him again. And he's shiny and new. And then, oh, what's the other character? So I really like that they put this in the game, because even though I'm not a D2 fan, I never played it, and I kind of only played Diablo 3 a little bit. I think this is going to bring some new blood, so to speak, to the Heroes. And if it doesn't bring new blood, I think it's going to have more people will return to play him. Maybe if they stopped, they might come back. So I think this is a good time for them to release it as well. And I'm really excited to see what the next 2 heroes are.
Well, we had a couple teased outside of these two back in BlizzCon, wasn't it?
Well,
Was it Gul'dan and Tracer?
BlizzCon is, Tracer's been confirmed for some point. They teased a lot of heroes at BlizzCon. I mean, they had a panel of 8 heroes that they were working on, and that was the Innkeeper from Hearthstone, Kel'Thuzad.
Oh yeah, like Dr. Boom was on there, Varian.
Yeah. So these are all heroes that they want to put in at some point, but we don't know who they're bringing in next.
yeah, I wonder who they bring in next. I believe because you get Tracer on release, I think,
Right.
for a release of Overwatch, and that I believe is this summer. Or even this spring. I think it's coming up very, very, very soon.
Now, don't you have to pre-order Overwatch in order
correct.
to have her on release?
That's correct.
Okay.
My guess is that she'll be like Artanis was.
Yeah.
She'll be
You'll
exclusive
get like a
for-
week of Tracer.
probably 2 weeks, I think, of Tracer, and then everyone could buy her for $50.
That might be like one of the few heroes that I have exclusively.
Not looking forward to her.
No,
I
she's
hate her
scary.
so much in Overwatch. I was like,
She's super annoying. Like you look at her and just like she has a super low health. She doesn't do a ton of damage with her blasters, and then she's zipping in and out, and you're like, how is this little bee so dangerous?
And she does a ton of damage.
Yeah, it's dumb.
and I'm not like suggesting anything drastic, but what if we like built a wall
What?
and put every Tracer player behind them? I mean, like that's not anything out there,
Yeah, no, it's not.
right?
So
Tassadar has a wall that he can build.
every 15 seconds, Tacitor confirmed for Trump. Literally.
No.
So, I think I'm really excited. I think that Zool, again, like I said, Zool is a really welcome addition to this game. I'm excited to see who's going to come out next. I think that we'll probably get a week or maybe 2 weeks with Zool before they announce the next 2. Maybe kind of what they did last time, where
Get
they
some
teased.
teasers. That was kind of fun.
I
Actually.
really,
I like that a lot.
really
That was a
like
good
that.
way to do that.
I really like it because it's not like League or or even Dota, really, I think, where there's kind of like if they introduce a new character, it's an OC, so it's an original character.
Right.
You can kind of piece together who is this character from your fan fiction in your head.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
thing. And that's really fun. It really like kind of brings up a rumor mill and stuff like that. So, do you have a question for this week?
I'm terrible. I never have a question.
My question was kind of what I asked you is how do you feel about Zool? Like, is there anything specific about his kit that is going to be tuned up or tuned down? Like, what are your feelings? What are your thoughts on that? And so I think we all agree actually that Mortal Wounds is a sleeper, and that it's probably too strong. Just kind of out the gate, it seems really crazy. I think that they will probably tune it down to 60 or 50%. And I think that it's totally fair, and it's still very, very, very good.
Along with that, I think that they will probably address his skeletal mages if they continue to be weak. They'll probably bring some attention to it, either a health buff or increased damage, because they're going to die anyway. You might as well get some use out of them.
I mean, at no point in the in-game chat has anyone been like, "Whoa, man, those skeletal mages really destroyed us that team fight." No, everyone is like, "Holy shit, Poison Nova does a lot of damage."
Yeah,
every single time.
The first time someone encounters Zools, that is basically their experience.
Yeah.
Poison Nova is like, "Whoa, that does more damage than I expected."
Yeah, don't hug him. He's scary. Yeah. So yeah, that's my question. I think it's kind of weird that we all answered the same thing.
But we don't usually have that.
No, we don't really. And I do think, like I said, Poison Nova does feel actually, even though it does hurt so much and people aren't used to it, people will get used to it, and it can be out here.
And honestly, I think all in all, he's in a pretty good spot.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
He feels a lot like Greymane to me at Greymane's release, where it was like, this feels actually pretty balanced. Like, he feels good. Maybe some tweaks, but
yeah, overall, I think he's solid. It just takes some time to get used to him.
I think he has the potential to be a good pick in meta too, because Thrall's a very popular pick. He shuts down Thrall so hard with curse strikes, even just base curse strikes wrecks Thrall.
Yeah, he's a hard counter to melee heavy teams.
Any auto attack melee,
Well, with Poison Nova, he destroys like 2 tank teams.
Yeah. Oh God. Ouch.
It's funny, yeah, and also like tanks that do a good amount of physical damage too, like your Diablos, or even just like, God, I don't know, anyone that gets hit by curse strikes is in for a bad time, just because like even Nova, like God forbid you took anti-armor shells and you have like 4 minutes in between.
It's just so funny because actually I'm pretty sure that the debuff would expire before you would get to shoot.
It would, because her like time between shots with anti-armor shells is like 4 seconds.
It is like 4 seconds. Yeah. I don't think she would just not shoot. Like, oh, poor baby. Nova.
Yeah, if she gets 1 shot off and then you hit her with it, she would never get to shoot again.
Never again.
But it's been like a full day and we haven't seen like any Zool bitch posts on the Reddit, so
that's a good sign. There have been a lot of praising Zool posts.
Yeah.
So well, I think we're in a good spot.
You got it.
I like him. He's good. He's definitely going to be my next guy to 10, because that master skin should be like the gold standard for every master skin coming out. That changes
so sexy.
much.
He looks like Burb, which is weird.
Yeah,
he looks like
he's
a tiny
the Raven Lord.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's cute. Also, if you click around the battle net launcher with, there's the Easter egg.
The intro page.
Yeah, he's a literal freaking scarecrow. Like, you summon.
He has a lot of
crows.
buddies.
Yeah, he has all these buddy friends. So you should do that.
Also, great voice actor.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Great voice. It's the same guy that did the Necromancer's voice in Diablo 2, who also does a ton of other voices.
Oh, that's cool. They got him back. That is really cool.
I mean, he does a ton of other Blizzard voices. Like, he does Medivh and Hearthstone.
God, Blizzard 2 was how long was that? Or how long?
Diablo
20
like
years?
2000?
15 years ago? 16 years ago? That's crazy.
I was still in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just color
Oh my
nervously.
So, that's it. Let us know what you think about Zool. And, thank you for listening to us, as always. You can catch us on Twitter at Dirty Casual Show, or twitch.tv. Our VODs are up for the last month. You can go watch them. Twitch.tv/Dirty Casual Show. You can catch us on Podbean. That's dirtycasual.podbean.com. And, of course, our blogspot, if you want to subscribe to our RSS, get them directly to your phone, whatever, iTunes. We are dirtycasualshow.blogspot.com. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
See you in the Nexus.
This podcast is part of the Frozen Fox Radio Network. For more shows and information, visit frozenfoxradio.com and follow us on Twitter @FrozenFoxRadio.